Alright, so boom, you're back here again with Chief and we have part 2 of our beautiful versus pragmatic football management simulation. So if you've not joined us for part 1, I'll put a link into the description below, but essentially we've created two managers, one who prefers beautiful football and one who prefers more pragmatic football, and they've been modelled on Guardiola and Mourinho. We sort of just set career plans based on these two managers' real life careers and just let them run wild and see what happens. So again, if you've not seen the first video, make sure you watch that before now. So hit pause, go watch that and come back. But for those of you who are up to date, we're going to dive back into it. The date is now 1st of July 2034, so we're now 15 years into the simulation. We obviously left them at 10 years into the simulation, which was 2029. So we're going to see how they're doing. So firstly, having a look at our man, Beautiful Football. As you can see, he's now manager of Spain. And his reputation's got a slight bump up. He's almost perfect. And his personality is now driven. So looking at where he's been the last 5 years, he was at Tottenham for a year. Looks like he either only stayed for a year or got sacked again and moved to Napoli. Was at Napoli for 2 years and then made the step up to managing Spain. So something Guardiola's not done. Obviously there's a lot of clubs here that Guardiola hasn't managed, but Guardiola hasn't stepped into international management, but Beautiful Football has. So in terms of overview, he's now managed 8 clubs and 1 national team. Longest time at a club is 1,068 days. Now spent over £1 billion on players totally. But he's recouped more than he sold now, earning 1.48 billion in total via sales. Overall win percentage is at 62% across his career. Win percentage for Spain is 91%, so. But he's not won any cups yet for Spain. And he's still at 4-2 overall in his career stats. So we left him here when he just played a couple of games for Tottenham in the FIFA Club World Cup, which obviously transferred into a summer competition. So he sold Justin Kluivert rather for 84 million. Did he manage to get over the line in any competitions? Sold Dele Alli for 3.1 million. Guess he was very old at that point. So no. So he got knocked out of the Europa League and then eventually sacked as the manager of Tottenham. So nothing won for Tottenham. And then obviously Napoli, seeing the reputation, seeing the clubs he's been at, seeing the stats, they said, you know what, we're still going to give you a chance. Signed him up. He made it all the way to the Europa League semi-final, but was knocked out by one of his old clubs, Chelsea. Finished 5th in the league. Then actually won the Coppa Italia in his second season with Napoli and also won the Europa League. So he went 2 better than the season before by winning the Europa League and finally entered the Hall of Fame. So he entered the Spanish Hall of Fame. So obviously pragmatic football had already been in the Portuguese Hall of Fame, but I guess it was slightly easier. And finally, in 2032 got offered the Spain management job, resigned as Napoli manager, and so far, so good. He's still in the World Cup with Spain at the moment, so there's potential for him to go on and win that. As you can see, they've got a tough test with Brazil next, and they're actually the past winners, so he's got a big reputation to keep up. But we shall see if he can do it. Biography, it's starting to fill out now a little bit with some of the things he's won and some of the competitions he's won and some of the clubs he's visited. So hit pause if you want to read this in full. So on to Pragmatic Football, who is our version of Jose Mourinho. As you can see, he's also been travelling around. He's gone from Milan in 2029 to Sociedad, then on to Inter. So he's ticked off another one of his career plans by being manager of Inter. So that's now Inter, Man United and Porto he's ticked off. So he's still got a few, but it'll be interesting to see if he can get those. He's also wanted by Real Madrid, so that's another one he could potentially be ticking off. So we'll be seeing him at Madrid in the next update. So in terms of overview, he's had one less club, only managing 7 teams. He's won more awards at 19 versus the 12. He spent more money at 1.5 billion, bought a hell of a lot more players, and earned less money through player sales as well. And win percentage, slightly better win percentage at 64%. So you could say pragmatic football slightly works. Again, been stung with that relegation, which was in his first club Lira. They finished 14th, but 14th to something dumb like 18th got relegated, or 20th, whatever it was. But again, he's won more cups than leagues overall, and he's won 2 cups with Inter. So let's dive in and see what he's won. So even after winning the Europa Conference League, he was sacked as manager of Sevilla, and then changed his preferred formation and was hired by Milan. So he signed Lucas Torreira, still a recognised name. Did he win anything with Milan? So he finished 7th. Released Alain Saint-Maxime. Again, he would have been very old at that point. Sold Hassam Aouar. Loaned Joshua Kimmich. So some interesting names. He changed his formation again, his preferred formation. So he's proven quite adaptable actually. Our Jose Mourinho imitation. Then he was sacked as Milan head coach after 2 years. Didn't win anything with them, and then decided, you know what, I'm going to change my formation again. Hired a Sociedad manager. And after a season, so he didn't actually do it. I mean, he finished 5th in La Liga rather, which is quite good for Real Sociedad. And Inter Milan decided to hire him as their manager. Sold Chris Metham. I was about to say, did he sign Chris Metham? Bought Malang Sarr rather, who's just signed for Chelsea in real life. And what did he win? He won the Italian Cup with Inter. Nice. Knocked out of the Champions League, so he hasn't been able to win the Champions League as of yet. Runners up in Serie A, that was quite good. And I believe this is Manager of the Year. Yep, so he won Manager of the Year for 78 win percentage in 38 games. And the other competition was the Super Cup, so that was from the year before, where they must have finished 2nd. Oh no, that was after they won the Cup. So they won the Cup, and then the season after that went to the Super Cup and won it. So he's still at Inter Milan at the moment. So we'll see what happens next. Will he make the move to Real Madrid or continue his good form at Inter? Because he's done quite well with them so far, just as Mourinho did in real life. So that is it for this 5-year update. So what we're going to do is fast forward another 5 years and see what's going on. So we're back. The date is now 1st of July 2039, and we are now 20 years into the simulation. So we're going to check on our guy Beautiful Football, see where he's at. So our man Beautiful Football has made it to one of his career plans, which is Man City, which leaves only one left, which would be manager of FC Bayern. But as you can see, he left Spain at the end of the last update, so potentially didn't win the World Cup and got sacked, but then joined Porto and was quite successful at Porto, being able to stay there for 4 years. And now he's just moved to City, so he's had 1 year at City and he's still got the job, so he must be doing well. But let's have a look. So in terms of overview, so Porto is now his longest time in club at 1440 days. He's now spent over 1.5 billion himself, but still made more than he's bought. And with a 76% win record currently at Man City, and he's been able to bump up his overall win percentage to 64%. So it's been interesting to see if he's matched or bettered Pragmatic Football, or if Pragmatic Football's pushed his ahead. But as you can see, he was on 4-2 before. He's now on 7-4. So he's won 3 cups and he's won 2 leagues. And he's managed to win 12 awards as well. So in total for Spain, yeah, he was definitely sacked. They got knocked out by Brazil in the 3rd round and Spain said, sayonara, see you later. He then moved on to Porto. Again, the transfers by 2034 would start to be mostly regen, so not people we'd know much about. So let's see what he won for Porto, because I'm sure he would have won something for Porto. Well, I mean, powers of deduction, he must have done. And he won the Allianz Cup. Okay, so that's a friendly competition, so that probably doesn't get counted. He finished 3rd in the league. That's really poor. That's really, really poor from him. Qualified for the Allianz Cup. Wait, is the Allianz Cup a friendly competition? Ah, so the Allianz Cup looks to be the Portuguese version of the Super Cup. So he won it. So he won the Allianz Cup, finished third, won the Allianz Cup again. Then he finally won the league. So he won the league in 2038. Nothing in Europe though, and wasn't able to get a Portuguese Cup over the line. But Man City felt the need to sign him as their manager. So he came in at Man City, hired Sandro Lopez as coach, so old Porto legend. Let's see what he won for City. Sold Sebastiano Esposito for 1.7 million. It's funny how it's come full circle. He would have been worth about that to start the game. Obviously, amazing one, amazing potential. If you don't know about him in FM20, where have you been hiding? But he's now in the twilight of his career and gone for cheap. But runners up in the Carabao Cup, knocked out by Man City in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. I mean, pretty accurate to real life. But in his first season, he won the Premier League and won Manager of the Year and won the FA Cup. So he did a double in his first season. That's quite good. Obviously, the real Pep Guardiola could have managed that. But that's it so far. And here's his biography. So hit pause if you want to read this in full. And now on to Pragmatic Football. Interesting. Very, very interesting. He's having a hell of a career. So he was signed by Real Madrid, it seems, when they wanted him. Then was signed by PSG after 2 seasons at Madrid. Then after a season, most likely of failure, then went to Man City. Again, probably after a season of failure, they swapped roles. So Pragmatic Football went to Porto to replace Beautiful Football, who replaced him at Man City. This is just the randomness of FM. And obviously, as you can see, he's earning a hell of a lot less than Beautiful Football at the moment, who's earning, I think, 155k. But now let's dive into it. So his longest time at a club still slightly eclipses Beautiful Football by about 27 days. And awards-wise, he's still 4 ahead. So he's been winning some awards, but he spent over 2 billion. Oh my gosh, 2 billion, 2.4 billion on players. 195 million, sorry. Read, come on. 195 million is the most he spent. But currently 65% win percentage at Porto, but he's not managed to win anything in his first season. And overall, he's won 10 cups and 5 leagues. So still slightly ahead. In win percentage, 1% better, and almost 300 goals better. So again, Pragmatic Football seems to be the way to score more goals. So back end of his Inter career is obviously left as manager and was picked up by Real Madrid. He sold Brandon Williams, sold Mason Greenwood, who somehow made it to Madrid. Nice. Did he manage to get anything over the line with Madrid? So he came runners-up in the league first season, runners-up in the Super Cup. Doesn't look like he's got anything over the line. Finished third. So yeah, couldn't get Champions League over the line. Finished third. And he was sacked, rightly so, as manager. You can't finish second and third and expect to stay on at Madrid. Then PSG hired him before he decided to change his preferred formation yet again. Then he won the French Super Cup before being knocked out by Wolfsburg. That's poor. That should have got him the sack, but he won the French Cup in the league, as you do. And before he could get the sack, Man City, or maybe they weren't going to sack him, but Man City came in and said, we want him. He joined City and changed his preferred formation yet again. And had a decent run in the Club World Cup. Made it to the final, but then finished runners-up in the Club World Cup, unfortunately. Runners-up in the Carabao Cup. Finished third in the league and runners-up in the Europa League. So again, not good enough for a team as big as City. Sacked him as manager, and obviously it was the right decision because the next season, Beautiful Football came and won them the double. Then for FC Porto, replacing Beautiful Football, we know he hasn't won anything, but he finished runners-up in the Allianz Cup semi-final, knocked out by Man City. So, I think that might be their second head-to-head. So in the second head-to-head, Beautiful Football came out on top, runners-up in the Portuguese Cup. And this is obviously his second spell at Porto, so he's the first manager to go back to a club, and kind of accurate, seeing as though he went to Chelsea twice in his career. Then looking at his biography, it's a little bit longer than Beautiful Football, including some breaks, but hit pause if you want to read it in full. So that is it. So we're going to go 5 years into the future again. So we're back. The date is 1st of July 2044. We're now 25 years into the simulation. So first things first, I'm going to check this because this will shock me. Yep, as I expected, Pedri, wonder kid from the game, now 41 years old, is now a manager. So he's gone from Barca to Leipzig to City to Juve, Valencia, West Ham under 18s manager, Torino manager, Villarreal manager, now Sampdoria manager. I just love this game so much, honestly. But now what we came here to see. What? Okay, hold on again. Jeffrey Rene Adelaide is Bayern manager. So he started his career at Swansea, Southampton, Arsenal, Milan, Hamburg. This game is incredible. I love this game so much. But now jumping into the meat and bones, what we came here to see, our guys. So Beautiful Football has now done it. So Beautiful Football has been manager of City. He was at City for 4 years before going to Bayern for 2 years, and now he's at Valencia. So let's have a look. So he's now been at a club longer than before. So he stayed at City another 18 days longer than his longest end, which was at Porto. But he's now spent over 2.5 billion and made 2.56 billion. So he's really closed that gap. So he probably spent big with Bayern and towards the back end of his City career. He's won 3 more cups and 1 league, but he's just joined Valencia, so won nothing with them yet. Almost cracking the 2,000 goals. So it'll be interesting to see if Pragmatic Football's cracked that. And win percentage 62%, so slightly dropped a bit. So after his double with Man City, he was runners up in a Community Shield, couple managers of the month, and finished 3rd in his 2nd season. Signed some more players. Won the Carabao Cup. And won the Premier League again, but finished runners-up in the Champions League. So he got really close for City, but couldn't get it over the line. And Jamal Lewis is now a scout. Pablo Fornal is head of youth development. Interesting to see how FM rates players that will stay in the game versus how players who won't, because obviously there's no reason to suggest Jamal Lewis and Pablo Fornals will stay in the game right now unless they've been interviewed by the FM research team. But he won the Community Shield, runners up in the Carabao Cup, runners up in the league in his 2nd to last season, or his last season actually. And he was actually offered the Bayern job, so he left City. And he's made his first change, so he's gone back to his original preferred formation. Was hired by Bayern Munich. And he... Let's see, did he get anything over the line with Bayern Munich? Finished 5th in Bundesliga. That is terrible, Pep. Unexcusable. 5th. That's crazy. Then finished 8th. What is Pep playing at? Absolutely, what is Pep playing at? And he won the Cup and Europa League runners up, but finishing 8th in the league with Bayern, that's poor. Like, Beautiful Football, what's going on, Pep? Are you giving you the power? How are you not able to get it over the line? Sacked as Bayern manager in May and just been hired. So he's only out of a job for about 20 odd days. And out of Valencia, he's gone back. So he said, you know what? 4-4-4-1 isn't working and I'm going back to my 4-2-3-1 wide. And he's made his first big sell for 63 million. So that's his biography. So hit pause if you want to read that in full. So on to Pragmatic Football, who has again reached another one of his preferred clubs. So he's now the manager of Chelsea, and he's been Chelsea manager for 5 years. So that means not only would they have had head-to-heads with Beautiful Football, a lot more, he's also been successful, otherwise they wouldn't have kept him around. Let's have a look who he's wanted by. So he's wanted by Inter. So Inter, I don't think they're still on his long-term plans list. So he's still on his long-term plans list. I guess potentially it's determined by the order, which means from Chelsea he then needs to go to Inter and then go to Tottenham. But he didn't go from Tottenham to Inter because Man United's disappeared. So it's a bit interesting. I'm not quite sure how that works or how FM rates that. So overview wise, he spent a very long time at Chelsea. So this is his longest club now. Spent 2.96 billion, so he's closing on the 3 billion mark. He's won 3 cups for Chelsea, 14 cups, 5 leagues overall in total, and he's definitely cracked the 2,000 goal mark, closing on 2,200, and still got a 64% win percentage. But currently at Chelsea, it's not that great. So in terms of landmarks, as you can see for Chelsea, he won the Europa League, Carabao Cup and FA Cup, so no leagues. And I mean, he won a European trophy, which is good. So he's now got one more to complete the set, which would be the Champions League. So he's got a long way to go because I don't think Chelsea seem quite set up to win it at the moment. But awards wise for Chelsea, no managers of the year, but a couple of managers of the month. And in terms of his biography, this is it in full, so hit pause if you want to read it. So that is it for this update. So we're only going to go 15 years. We're going to do 15-year chunks. But now let's get into the, wow, I just missed that as well. William Saliba, Arsenal's new defender signing, his manager of Villarreal. Just and he's been around the block as well. But sorry, got pulled off track again. We're going to have a look at the world and see what's been going on. So in terms of the world, the biggest nation are Germany. The biggest club are Juventus. So Real Madrid and Barcelona have dropped off and Everton have made a surge. Interesting. So again, biggest players, they're all going to be regens, but I mean, the 3 biggest players in the world all play for Juventus. And one of them was the guy that Beautiful Football sold for 60 odd million. And according to FM, the world is currently at 7.22 billion people. So looking at the biggest fees, O'Reilly went for 195 million, and that was by Beautiful Football. So the record is still 218, I think, for Mbappe. So we'll see if that's broken at all. Then we had Samida, so quite a low year, 130 million. Francisco Munoz, so football was getting a bit better, back down to the hundreds and 80s. Then a season where everything went under 100 million. So Lamine NG. Then we had 86 million for Milos Grezlak, again to City. Then to Juventus, Alves, Juanario Alves, first over 100 million transfer in a while. Then we had another just about 100 million transfer. So we had Lamine on the move again. And then Lucas Galvo, 103 million. Then again, transfer season sort of leveled out, or transfer fees have leveled out to under 100 million. Emilio Jose to Madrid is the biggest one. And again, all under 100 mil. Prince Ndukwu, Stefan Jovanovic. Then Ferrer Smits, Arsenal to Valencia, 103 million. And finally, this season, the biggest transfer was Lay, or biggest transfer currently, because the market's still open, is Lay from Barcelona to United for 76 million. So in terms of the Ballon d'Or, since the last time we looked at it, we had Jadon Sancho in 2029 winning the Ballon d'Or, with Sebastian Esposito in second, and Haaland. And Phil Foden got over the line, which is quite good, before Balderson began to shine, I guess. Because this region's name comes up a lot, because as we have here, he won it again. Oh, Barcelona 3. That's what a great season there. Before Esposito broke it up, before Balderson came through again. Balderson again, this time for another team. Ika Martin broke up the Balderson domination before Balderson came through and won the quadruple. So Balderson's like Ronaldo reborn pretty much. Then we had Nicolas Alderholz for Barcelona again. Then Vanino for Liverpool. Viladis Marquezin for Michael Friss and Jonathan Ricardo. I love that. Jonathan with a D. Yes, that's the Ballon d'Or. So quick housekeeping rules, guys. Again, if you like the content, hit like, comment below with more experiments you want to see, and we'll continue to make them and enjoy the randomness of FM. But you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Chief of None. You can subscribe to the YouTube, hitting the button below, the big red button that says subscribe, and turn on post notifications, so anytime a new video drops, which is usually Monday, Wednesdays and Fridays, you'll be the first to know about it and you'll be the first to watch it. But thanks for rocking with us so far, guys, and hope you continue to rock with us, and we'll see you again for the next update. For now, peace.